So welcome to week 5 of therapeutic fasting, and the ladies here have done an excellent job, and we were just chatting about how the mind plays tricks. The mind wants you to do certain things, especially when you start changing. So we use the analogy of perhaps when you were younger and things would upset you a lot, and you might be like that for weeks before you get over it. And now, as it's gone round and round and round as the years go by, it's like that. Something will upset you and you get over it, say, in 5 minutes or less. So we were using the same analogy there for changing the food patterns and things like that. The mind's going to go, what are you doing to me? And bring up things from the past, it's the ego trying to keep you safe. Because what happened in the past is obviously going to happen again. But that's not exactly how everything works in life. So it's just recognizing those patterns. And I think I said to Lindy actually yesterday, and I said it to a client earlier this evening, was you need to master your mind. Don't let the mind master you, because it's just that talking that comes up from, the past that sort of gets you, and it can take you down. So it's recognizing it, and as you did for, perhaps when people upset you, it's the same thing. So it will get better the more you do changes, but it can stop people in their tracks. And we all know that. We've seen that with other people. So anyway, on that note, feedback, what's happening? Whoever wants to go first.
I can, because Lindy's eating. I'll leave her be. I absolutely loathe the salad. I hated it. It was the worst thing ever. And I trudged through. I think I managed 5 meals of it yesterday. I didn't get to the 6th. By the 4th and 5th one, my stomach was not happy, and I was almost gagging. And I know there's a lot of psychological stuff, but literally I struggled so hard with that. And today was better because I can manage bland barley. Because to me, it does taste quite bland, and that was okay.
Okay, can I ask you a question? You did barley, you didn't do buckwheat?
Oh, buckwheat. Yeah, no, it was the buckwheat. For some reason, I get them confused.
I know, because you said barley the other day, and I just wanted to check. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was because Lindy had shown her little video, and she was going to talk me through it, and then anyway, it didn't line up, but I followed the instructions. And I'd roasted it a few days before because I had the activated, and I looked it up online. It wasn't roasted. It was, they do something like soak it, and there's a process anyway.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so it was roasted, and it was okay, but I've only managed 4 out of the 5 meals today because as the day went on, I don't know if I put too much in my bowl. I mean, I've only got a bowl that big, and I just was getting bloated. So
yeah,
I haven't felt hungry at all today. I didn't feel hungry yesterday. I don't get hungry very much. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. The body's just whatever it needs.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Just right.
With the salad, and I think it's partly because I don't eat a lot of through summer I'll eat some salad with hubby, but it's it's lettuce, tomato, maybe some capsicum because nobody else eats it. That's mine. And a little bit of carrot, and very basic. And then to go from that to that was very extreme. And yes, my head probably went, but my body was like, what the hell are you doing? So I struggled really, really hard with that. Anytime if I can have cooked veggies, I will eat just about anything. It's just the raw stuff really gets me.
Understand completely. This is an experiment. to see what goes on for you.
Yep.
You've just both done very, very well. The raw food there is there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's there for a reason. It's the way we're building things up.
Yeah.
Yes, we can give you a soup, but that comes in a bit later. We really need to line the gut and get things back into how it, the best,
Yeah.
better than it was before, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for it. So and I left it just as the instructions, okay, and for you to just see how you went, because it's
Yeah.
the way to find out how far you can go.
Well, that's why I pushed, and to be honest, I think I'm not even 100% sure. I don't feel I've got an infection, but my kidneys, because it's on both sides and they're connected to the sacral, and I've been working through some stuff, and that it's all been exploding. So I know it's all related, but it's just body was really, inside feels really good, but my muscles, like the outside, I have been feeling like I can't get warm enough on my back.
Yes.
But I was feeling like that prior to that. It just amped up this week.
Yes.
So it was already something that was happening.
Yeah. So tell me, what's the temperature's been up where you are?
It was 14 degrees this morning.
Yeah.
It's currently 15.
Yep. So what is it overnight though?
It probably drops down to about 10 maybe.
Right. Okay.
Not sure.
And a top of 14. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's what it was first thing in the morning. So when we got up.
So
I don't know what it was like in the
to?
day. Probably it felt like it was in the 20s. I
Right.
didn't check. And my body's happy when it's around 25 degrees.
Yeah.
Because there's something about the temperature when it starts to dive, everything starts to lock up and I have to really force it to kind of move. And even then everything's so tight.
Okay. So what is it like in your house? Is it cold in the house?
Yeah, it gets cold.
Okay. So it's really hard for you to be warm. You don't.
Yeah, I've got a hot water bottle out at the moment.
Yeah. So what sort of heating do you have?
None. And the insulation's not great.
Sorry, what was that?
The insulation's not very good either.
Right.
So yes, we do feel the heat and the cold. We are making changes, but everything's a process.
Okay. So this is why it's really important to do this at the turn of the seasons when it's not too cold, it's not too, yeah. So these are things for you to be mindful of when you do it next time, especially if you haven't got to not have any heating at all is very, very hard on your body. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I layer up. And we've got the wood fire, but that's in the kitchen at the opposite end of the bedroom.
Okay. Yeah.
House.
But yes, so 2 pairs of socks, 3 pairs of socks, really keeping the feet warm, because keeping the feet warm will keep the kidneys warm.
Yeah.
If you don't have them warm, then
yeah, I've felt that before. If my feet aren't warm, the rest of me just freezes.
Yeah, especially the kidneys, because it goes, as soon as they're cold, it goes straight up. So yes, and maybe you didn't have enough water for you. It's very hard.
Well, I was trying to follow exactly, and I
Yes.
did feel towards when I was having the juices, it felt okay, but it was when I started changing that the body started to get a bit crankier.
Okay, so these are things that you write on this sheet. This one reason I've got you all to do both to write the sheet, because you need to write these things down so that next time we can do things a bit differently.
Yeah.
So, that's why it's important, because it's a learning curve with what works for you. And we've got to think about the different environments everyone's in, because you're not all down here with me. If you were down here with me, it would all, it'd be a lot easier. But I mean, to me, your temperatures are hot.
Yeah, and to me, I live in like 30 odd degrees. 30 is perfect.
But I understand, because if I didn't have any heating, I'd be a complete disaster. I need to be warm. That's me. I like to be warm.
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from, and you get used to a certain, you know, even though it's warmer up there, it's still you're cold.
Yes.
It's my cold.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's been 3 and a top of 14.
Oh,
So that's why I'm going, oh my God, she hasn't got any heating, but it's not as cold as what
yeah.
So, okay. So the other thing that I want to bring in is your water. Are you on water tanks?
Yeah. We get the rainwater.
Have you had the water tanks checked?
No.
Because very, very important. If you're drinking and you're getting worm infestations, especially, there could be mold, there could be all sorts of things. If you get nothing else tested, get your water tanks tested. I know
Okay.
to Lindy. It's one of, because when you're on tanks, it's okay. If it's a new tank, it might be okay for a year or so, but they really need attending to. So
Okay.
there's a lot of bugs and all sorts of things that, you know, you can pick up from that. So it can be keeping your health down rather than helping it up. So
Which, funny enough, because my health has improved 100 times more since I've been up here.
yes,
But we do filter the water, but it's just one of those Brita jugs, so I don't know how good the filters are.
yeah. And that's good that you're doing that. You both are, from what Lindy's doing too, but it's what's in, in the actual water tank. You can just get it tested.
Yeah.
And you can actually have a look inside, see if there's any mold growing, see if it needs cleaning out.
Yeah.
And then, filling up again or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the most important ones because you're using it for everything.
Yeah. So I might actually start just boiling it and cooling it.
Yeah.
And do it that way.
That would be a good thing too. But, just I encourage everybody on water tanks because I've had some very ill people who've had water tanks down here in the past.
Okay. No, it's really, I wouldn't have thought of that.
At least 8 people that I know of, and they couldn't get better with whatever, different things that were going on for them.
Yeah.
And got better after they had their tanks cleaned out.
Yeah.
But it's different for everybody. And it may be different up there because it's warmer.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain and moisture though.
More than down here. Because when it's cold, nothing much is going to survive.
No.
So it's a different everywhere in the world. So just something to
Yeah, thank you.
It's okay. And Lindy, how did you go with the foods and everything? I know you changed the green apple to red apple.
Yep, and that worked. That took away all the grumbles and everything.
Interesting. I've never heard of green apple giving anybody an issue before. Red apple I have because it's sweet. Yeah, but that's
I got they were slightly sweet. I wanted to get Pink Lady and I went, no, I know they're really sweet. So I went, no, we're not having those. So I think it was the Red Delicious ones.
Okay.
So
right.
Slightly sweet.
Yep.
But yeah, it definitely made a difference in the body. And it might just, like you say, it might just be the combination. However, I don't often eat green apple, but it is something that I was given. Mum used to grate green apple when we were sick, and we used to have that as one of our first foods to eat. And even when I've been sick up here as an adult, I've done that. And I've noticed then a bit more full feeling and bloated and a bit of gas from it.
Well, and this is where our uniqueness comes in. And this is why we've got to note these things down so that we don't repeat them again and we can change things slightly, combinations happening. So, okay. All right. Anything else?
No, I did really, I love the all-in-one salad. I did struggle a little bit with it, just the quantity of it and the dryness. I did want to put the yogurt on it, which, you said to me just that flat thing. So I reduced it down. And I still enjoy it because I love that salad. But today I absolutely love the buckwheat, and I had some leftover salads and I portioned that out so that I had it this morning. First bowl I had just buckwheat, but then the rest of them I had that spoonful of the salad in with it, and it was just delicious. So I've really enjoyed it, especially because I've warmed the grains up before eating them, and it's cold, so it was really yummy, to like really satisfying thing. And I could hear that voice going, oh yum, you know, because that's what I do with certain foods. It triggers a satisfaction, a pleasurable feeling in me. So, you know, the voice did go a lot quieter today, so it hasn't been as intense, but the meat thing was really, really intense. And that was Sunday night. And I noticed it was when I was sitting on the couch idle, it amplified and was solo, because there was nothing to distract me. We were watching a TV show, which was distracting, but not enough. It still was in there. And, you know, I'd be going,
So were you hungry?
no, I wouldn't have said I'm hungry because I was full from eating the salad.
And had there been meat cooked near you?
Not at that time, no.
No, but earlier where you got the fumes and
No, that was later. That was a little bit later on. So I'd been having that thought since Saturday.
Yeah.
The meat cravings never really gone away, but it amplified on Saturday later in the day. And then it was all there all day Sunday. And, you know, if I can reflect on it, it's okay. I know I'm going out to this thing on Tuesday night, this networking meeting tomorrow night. Yep. And they serve pizza and gluten-free yummies, and perhaps I was projecting myself into the future and causing myself anxiety. That's what I've got today. You weren't present, Lindy. So I was projecting myself forward, which then allowed the mind to run its stories.
Yeah, and say, I want it now.
Yeah. So and today I had that realization. I was just talking to myself because Dave was out, so I talked to myself about it. And I went, okay, well, if we're going to have it, we're just going to have a little bit. And so I was just talking to it and it appeased it. And it was like, oh, okay. It was all right with that. I was all right with that. Yeah. I know it sounds weird, but I
no, it's not weird.
Separate it from myself to be able to process it and retrain it with the new framework. And I have to do it very gently, because as I was messaging you privately about that, I could say to you, I'm not going to eat it. And then I will closet eat. And that goes back to my bulimic days. So I know that's not now. However, I have done that. You know, I still have had that pattern come up, and I have done it.
Yep.
And I will go through McDonald's, for example, and buy, you know, $20 worth of McDonald's, and I will eat it so fast. It's like I'm not even controlling me anymore. Someone else takes over, and I'm like, okay, it's done now. Righto, let's move on. So I can get through it. And that's what I'm aware of. And I've not shared this with anyone. So this is, the closet door is open. I'm shining the light in there to say no more.
Yeah. And I'm going to share something with you, because when I've worked all day at the winery and I can be hungry, and there's a McDonald's that I pass, I only buy chips. But once I do it once, every time I go past there, I want to go in there and I have to go, no, not do it. You've got to be strong not to do it. But it just sets up a little needling patterny thing that goes on. So it's the same with everything. And then I go, right, that's it, done it twice, that's enough.
Yeah.
No more. Because I've got dinner waiting for me when I get home. But it's just one of those things. And because unfortunately we've got everything at our fingertips. We can go and get anything we like. Well, I don't know about Alexis because she's a bit further out. She can't do that. But there's, you know, I love chocolate too. And if someone's upset me and there's a bar of chocolate there, I could eat the whole thing. We're not immune just because you know, I do what I do doesn't mean to say at times that things just happen. It's recognizing it and going, okay, I'm not doing that. You have to stop it, because you're just going to get into that thing that you've already been in and you don't want to go back there. So I think part of it is when you start to know that how you can feel so much better, and you do this, you know, like 1 day fasting, and I'm going to talk to you about that later. You can keep that sort of feeling going and go, okay, yes. And sometimes it's a chore to do it, but it keeps the feeling alive, and it keeps you from doing other things more. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Can I just add to that?
Yep.
It was really good for me to move 6 hours from Brisbane. Because I don't have everything at my fingertips there, and their closest McDonald's is an hour away.
yeah.
So that's brilliant. But I can totally, like, I've done stupid things, you know, when I was a bit younger. I would, you know, eat and, you know, hide it, especially chocolate, you try to hide things. And that's a pattern I've had to break, and that's taken time. But everything's been incremental changes. It's all been, anytime I've tried to do anything too hard or too fast, it's like that rubber band and just stretch back. But the things that I've been able to do really slowly, I can't eat takeaway anymore. I tried last year, I tried a little bit this year, even just nuggets from KFC or Macca's. And I would have the worst stomach pains, and my body would just be in revolt. So it's almost like as soon as you start cleaning your diet so much, you just can't go back, because your body goes, oh, that feels terrible. Don't do it. And your brain starts to remember, hey, if I do that, I'll feel like crap. Do you want to feel like crap, or do you want to have that momentary, oh, it doesn't even taste that good? So, but you know, a couple of years ago, that stuff would have been really yummy. Now it's just like cardboard. So yeah, that's just my thing. But it's all been incremental changes.
It is, and that's what we were talking about before, going around to spot, because things still keep coming up, but it gets less and less and less and less.
And because you can be aware of it as well. I know today I was emotionally eating some chips because, yeah, and I thought, I'm eating this other good stuff and I'm choosing this. And there was stuff happening with the family at the time, and I knew what I was doing, and I knew the pattern. I looked at it and I went, I'm still doing this, but I know what you're doing. And I went, you know what? I am not judging myself. I'm just going to own it. I'm not hiding it. And go, okay, and tomorrow, so I said to hubby, I don't even like these. I don't like them. I've given up chocolate. I've given up all this stuff. And I have to actually change the way my brain is, because I've given up everything. And you know, the brain is going, what do we have? Because I'm feeling deprived. And that's currently what I'm working through, because I have nothing nice to eat that I, you know, would go and enjoy. Food tastes like crap at the moment. The only things I actually enjoy are my soups and juices, because they taste good.
Yeah, because
yeah.
flavors. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all about the journey, and you know, we're still in it.
Yeah, you're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You're right in the middle of it, and you're just really starting this particular journey, but you know, you're already on the journey with changing foods and things like that anyway.
Yeah.
And that's why you know, I go slowly with people. I just do 1 day fasting, get that under your belt first.
Yeah.
And then progress on to a 3-day one, which you've both experienced now. And I think you've both said that your body feels good, but the mind's got to catch up.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that will take practice.
It will, and it's just doing it again, you know, and again, and then you know, if you're going to do anything more than a 3-day fast, I would say you need to go away and do that, only because you're going to get the best result.
Mhm.
You know, if you try and do half and half of something, it's not going to give you the result you want, and then the brain just goes, oh,
Doesn't work.
doesn't
Yeah.
work. Exactly. So that's, you know, that's what I'd say about that. But I think you've both done really well,
I think we have. We're doing bloody marvelous.
because, you know, just doing it online with no support right next to you, like if you were in a group, say we were staying somewhere, it would be very different. And you'd have no distractions, and things wouldn't be available, and you couldn't, you know, you wouldn't be smelling meat being cooked, all those things to take you out of where you are. But, you know, so I think you've done fabulously.
I actually was appreciative of the smell of meat. And so I went up to it and you know, his dinner, and I went up to it and looked at it and sniffed it and stuff like that, and went, thank you, I've eaten all I need to eat now.
That's a really good, yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
like that.
instead of rejecting it, I embraced it,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
there's no point pushing it away, because that keeps the resistance there. And it's about bringing it in and embracing it to allow it to transmute, which is what I call it, my own little process. So
Yeah.
I was going through that a lot.
Yep. And I
Yeah.
mean, this is really the first time. I mean, I know you did this a few years ago, but I'm not sure you were in a different space.
I was in a very different space. I mean, I still followed the program,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
didn't have the same insights, results, feelings that well, not that I can remember anyway.
No, but I know.
But that was perfect, because that was at the beginning of my deep journey work that I started. So it was a perfect going into it. And this has been just absolutely mind-blowing. And another thing I did today is I sent my former hubby a text message as well, because I had Nathan here yesterday and he was sharing stuff, and he needs money for this medication to go on for 12 months. I didn't want to poo-poo it. It's to stop the receding hairline. It's a hormone blocking medication or something. I know you could probably go, here's a natural remedy.
No, that's all right. He's got to do what he wants to do.
You know, but it's $264 a month or something. And he's a uni student working part-time. So, you know, he's only got $75 a week for food and stuff. So I wanted to help him.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't want to just take the money. So I said, okay, well, you come and help me here gardening and I'll pay you. And I'll pay for that thing for your 12 months. But I then went, I'll message Greg and ask him. And he replied and said, yeah, he'll go halves in it. And he's already transferred $300. And I said a few other things as well. So with Angel coming to end of life, do you want to see her before, you know, that reaches it? And I'll be doing something at home for her. And he says, I'll contribute to that as well.
Oh, lovely.
And I opened up the conversation about Amy as well, because Alexis, I've got a broken relationship with my daughter. When I left my husband, I pretty much left her. I was married to her, not him. And she went to live with him, and I had the 2 boys. So it's been very challenging at times. She's not ready to face it, but I am, and I've got to accept that. But I sent him a message and said, you know, could you have that conversation with her from your perspective? And da-da-da. And he said, oh, he said yes. And he also saw a psychologist who advised him not to push them if they don't want to talk about it, because Amy doesn't want to talk about it. She shuts down because she doesn't want to know that and this is what the boys said, she doesn't want to admit that she went and lived with him and abandoned you when you were the one that was hurt.
Yeah.
And he didn't abuse her. He abused me and the boys. So it was interesting to message him. And after I sent that text message, which I shared with you, Sandy, I howled. Like I was eating buckwheat at the time and I nearly choked on it. So I put my buckwheat down and just went, okay, let it out. So I just was like, and I sobbed for a few minutes. And then, like you said, I just let it out. And then I was like, okay, that's good. Yay. And then I felt great about the message, and he has replied really nicely and stuff. So, and I've never addressed anything with my former hubby yet. So that was the door opening for that. It's like the time is now to open that door and to share. So I did, and it felt really, really good.
Good.
So yeah.
I feel like we need like streamers and balloons.
We do
Just
need streamers, balloons, and all.
celebrate that. That's amazing. Congratulations. Like that's a huge step, really. You should be really proud of yourself and the fact that you stepped in, because you've stepped into that. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think-
there's been so much. Like yesterday I was out in the garden with Nathan. He was helping. So we did 4 hours in the garden, which was some of those videos I shared, which is why I missed you, Alexis.
That's okay, love.
Yeah. And it worked out perfect, right? And normally the next day I'm sore, I'm tired, and I've had a full-on work day today, even though I'm not supposed to be doing other stuff. Lucinda needed stuff doing, so I had to get that done. And I'm still sitting here so energized. And I sat on the couch last night and I was physically tired, but still full of energy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's how we should feel a lot of the time.
But
Yeah.
it was almost, my mind was, it's almost on the verge of too much energy. So it's
Yeah.
dialed back a little bit.
get
So
you.
it's not
Yes.
so full on, because it was on the verge of creating it. Well, it was creating anxiety in me because it was just too much.
Yeah. So,
What do I do with all this energy?
but it stopped. It would have stopped today with the buckwheat. Settled down.
Yes, the energy settled today. Yes.
So it's just the salad is a very high energy food.
And the broth was.
Well, and the broth was still allowing your body to release lots of toxins. And the broth's very light. So your body's got lots of extra energy for doing other things because it's already done some hard work. So they're very high energy days. But we don't want to lose that altogether. And I think that's where you're both at the moment. What do I do next? So we'll have a little chat about that. But I'm just going to share.
I had a bit of fear around that too, Sandy, because I think I've shared this to you too. In the past, it was related to me like a pendulum swing. If you're really high, there's going to be an equal opposite low. And it's about bringing it so it's a more gentle cadence. And I felt like I was up here going bang, bang, bang on the high side. And my mind's going, okay, well, the low's coming. We can't stay here. The low's going to come. Yep. Except I came back and I didn't go all the way opposite. I just came back to this point here sort of thing. And then today it's slowed down.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Yeah. Because as soon as you hop straight back into foods that you were having, especially meats, heavier foods, it's just going to go like this. So to do it gradually is what we'll talk about in a minute. Here we go. I lost my share screen. Hang on a sec. Here we go. So this is our week 5 already. So this is what we're talking about tonight. These will be in your notes. The first thing I want you to do, we'll do this at the end because of my time going overseas. So I just want to book you both in for your follow-up consultation. We'll do that at the end. Lindy knows all about B1G1, but I just wanted to let Alexis know. I don't know if you've heard of B1G1.
Yeah,
Alexis?
Lindy's talked about it.
Has she? Okay. So what we've done so far is we're up to, so 27 children get access to clean life-saving water around the world for each of you because you booked the course, yeah? And for just being on the live calls, there's an extra 100. So that's 154. I 10 times that when I've done a course. That's at contribution from my company. And there's a total of 1540 impacts now for fresh, clean water for children around the world. I just wanted to let you know that because that will go off to them in this next week. Okay, so what I do is water for me, and I'm going to come back to stop share for a minute. Water to me is the most important thing in the world, or for all of us, and that's why I'm saying to both of you to think about your water tanks and making sure your water is nice and clean and everything, as it can be. Because if we don't have any water at all, which a lot of these places don't, I mean, they just curl up. We can do without food, but we can't do without water. Yeah, so that's why it's close to my heart. I've always got water projects and things that I give to. So that's where B1G1 is. So I'll leave that there. Just so you know. Now this is also it's like a blog poemy sort of thing that I wrote back in 2014 about mindfulness, and it goes into the breath work to start off with, and then it talks about thoughts and finding all the gold nuggets. It's sort of like the next part on to when we were doing yesterday, that meditation. But this is something you can read through, and you can recreate your own if you want to do some more journaling. Okay, so I've just popped that in there for you to read. Now this brings up what we were doing yesterday, so I'm just going to, you've seen that before. The two fundamental choices for most people, or for everyone really, is you want to live your true nature and purpose, and we want to be healthy so we can do that. And I did ask, and I don't know if you've done it yet, whether you had some choices that you'd highlighted, or some things you'd highlighted on your writing, because then we can formulate them into choices. So it's something I won't do with you now, but if you can do it before we have our call, then I can go through and help you word them and keep them nice and short and succinct. So very easy, okay, rather than being too long-winded, etc., as we can all be, because we want to include everything. Okay, so that's about that, which we can do, as I said, when we do our catch-up call. I've put some information in here about enemas and colon therapy. Teachers probably shouldn't even be there, so we'll just get rid of that. This is about water therapies, and balneotherapy is all about bathing and maybe hot and cold towels and other types of water treatments that we use. And these are both what I call really useful if you go on to do a bit of a deeper program. And sometimes when we're fasting, we'll have a set of baths to do, because it's actually pushing things even more to get a better clean. Well, obviously, we've done some enemas this time. Then there are other types of water therapies that we can do to remove toxicity, etc. Okay, and we need to stimulate the body again, because a lot of the body's gone to sleep. So there's a little bit to read about that. Now, this is after breaking the fast. Where do we go? Okay, now I'm here talking about a follow-up consultation. Ask all the questions you want to. I can recommend a few things or whatever we discuss. It's the main thing I would like to get done are those choices as well, because that will hold you in good stead for moving forward with 1 day fasting. So that's just saying that. So that's your notes for tonight, which I'll stop sharing now, because have you got any other questions before I launch into the next bit? Have you got any questions about anything? Questions about 1 day fasting, whether you think you can do it or not do it, or how often you want to do it, or you don't have to do it, it's just,
I'm planning on doing it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
is monthly. I don't want to push myself too hard. And if I go, I can do it once a month, put it in the calendar, work out the best day to do it, which will probably for me be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
Because Friday is my no client facing day. Thursday I have clients, which
Yep.
is the preparing day.
Yep.
And then Saturday is the breaking of, isn't
Yep.
it?
No, that's
So
fine.
that's why I was thinking that. But is one a month going to help, or should I
course.
aim at doing it 2 weekly or something?
I think you need to do what you're comfortable with. If you think once a month is okay, so you book it in for the month, for a month's time, see how you go in that month. You might actually go, I think I need to do one this week,
Mhm.
and might
Okay.
bring forward, or it might be absolutely okay. Yeah. We talk about doing it once a week, but it's not really feasible to do it every week. I mean, we go away, we do, life happens, but it's just the practice of it keeps you in that space of, it's just, you get that feeling back, of lightness. So what I'm going to suggest when you do these 1 day fasts, and you know how you've got to prepare the day before and be careful the day after, is that the day you're preparing is a day that you could do the broth all day.
Mhm.
And the day that you finish fasting, you could just do buckwheat all day. So it sort of extends it a little bit,
Mhm.
if that's something you'd like to do, because then you're actually doing the 1 day juice fast, but you're just preparing and then being careful the next day. So they're things that you can sort of extend it a little bit. Yeah. And you'll get that better feeling. So you don't have to do it that way, but it's another concept that you could follow. So that's why I'm talking about that. And we can talk about it individually when we do our catch-up call. So that's not a problem. So Alexis, do you think you would be doing any at all, or do you think?
Yeah, no, the 1 day I found that a lot easier. The 3 days, a lot more mentally challenging. So
Oh.
I need to definitely. I wanted to do it fortnightly, but I am going away in about 4 or 5 weeks, so I'll see how I go, because I do have to organize myself food wise to make sure I've got what I need. But I have some soups, some chicken broths that I've got in the freezer, got 3 serves. So I got one out today so I can have that tomorrow,
Yeah.
because I love my chicken broth and it's perfect weather, and I just add a piece of sourdough bread. So it's still lighter food, but I'm trying to get back into some kind of normality, whatever that is.
Yeah. So, and if you're cold like you are, you want to be having more soups than juices.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a juice for breakfast. It might be too cold for you to do that. It might be better midday or something.
Mm.
That's up to you. And you could have the soups either end of the day. You've got to work out what works for you. But
Mhm.
keeping it light, and I know you've been keeping it lighter, and it's been a progression. So, yeah, it's absolutely fine. But if you wanted to do it either side on the, day you're getting ready and the day you finish, you probably get a better outcome from
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yep.
But it's coming up winter, so you have to be mindful.
Yes.
Yeah, what you're doing. So I guess the important thing is the enemas, because it's helping to clean out and keep on top of the toxicity that builds up in the system.
Yeah. Well, I was very surprised from last week. I mean, I don't think I was super shocked or anything to have those things in there, but it was a bit like, oh, we've come out. So it was the best, because I'd done it so many days in a row. It was this is a bit yuck, but it's the cleanest that I've managed to get by myself at home. So yeah, I felt like I actually managed more, because sometimes you do it and I can't manage as much water and that kind of thing. So yeah.
So the temperature is very important.
Yes, and I love the thermometer. Thank you.
The temperature is important because if we have it 1 degree too cold or 1 degree too hot, too cold, you don't get the clean that you feeling or the deeper clean, and too hot and it seeps through into the other organs and doesn't do its job. So it's that's why it's so finely tuned. And then it, you'll get a better clean feeling from it and remove things that you don't want there.
Well, I've got colonics on Wednesday, so I will be interested to see how I go.
Yeah.
Because I haven't, since Wednesday, I haven't released anything because of what we've been doing. I'm just waiting to see.
Yeah, it's quite common, and I know you did ask me, but it's quite common not to move your bowels for at least 3 days. And it depends what it is that you're having. Yeah. I would have thought that you may have moved your bowels with the salad, but that hasn't happened as yet.
No, and that's part of my issue has been having issues there.
So you could always just do an enema one morning.
Well, I was going to do it tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Just to, if I haven't, I was trying to give myself as much time to see if the body would like to do it itself. And otherwise I was going to do it tomorrow night with the bicarb. And that way, when I go on Wednesday, I get as good a clean as I can get. And yeah, just see how that goes. It's all learning, because I haven't done this process before, this specific way.
Yeah. So you might want to let go of the colonics once you get your head around doing the different enemas, and the different enemas do different things, which we'll talk about when we catch up. And there is plenty of different enema recipes. I've just given you the really simple ones to do.
Yeah.
Because it's the reason I get people to do this is because colonics are expensive. And it's cost effective, and you can do it yourself at home. And if you've got a cold, for instance, giving you extra bit of information, but if you've got a cold, you can do a lemon enema.
Okay.
Lemon juice enema. It's on the sheet there, I think, that you've got. And that will clear your head and your nose. Okay. The bicarb enema is if you're feeling very acidic.
Don't think I am at the moment, so that's good.
Yeah. And chamomile is if you're feeling constipated. And the sage one is if you've got looser bowels. If you have not some food poisoning, but if something happens and you've got loose bowels, you can correct it by doing a sage enema.
Okay.
All right. So they do slightly different things. Yeah. Their properties. But anyway, we can go through more of that when we one-on-one.
Thanks.
So that's why I was wanting to talk about you can stretch out the 1 day fasting if you want to.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it once a month, Lindy, that might be something, because you're sort of doing it over 3 days anyway. It's just getting that organised. So that's something else. So I'm going to bring you back to what do you go on with? Now, was there anything on those 5 days that you actually felt that you liked? Those recipes for the 5?
The veggie broth. I think that was one on there.
You liked the veggie broth, yeah?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I can't remember what else was on there.
Had juices. You had the juice day.
Yeah, I'll juice pretty much any time, but I'm trying to be mindful of the weather as well.
Yeah. And then you had the salad and you had the onion soup, which you weren't a fan of.
No.
Also the way that it was put together, but I'll talk to you about that when we.
Yeah, I struggle with chopping things up really small because my coordination isn't always the best, and I struggle with small things like
Understand.
that.
But there's other ways of having that if it wasn't appetizing.
Okay.
That's a warm soup that you
Yep.
can actually leave the yogurt out of, and then you can warm up the soup each time and just add a spoonful of yogurt on top.
Yeah.
So
I'd almost leave the yogurt out, except I understand why, because you talked about the gut lining. But I think even I had the lactose-free yogurt, and that was, I don't know if it was the buckwheat or the yogurt today that made me feel bloated. So it could be the combination, but
combination for you, because you don't normally have anything like that, do you?
no. But
Yeah.
I did find by the end of the day with the onion soup, it wasn't as bad. And I'd actually gone back because I didn't have internet for hours that day. So I didn't even know people commenting, and they went, I should have added, and then you've commented, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was it wasn't exactly how it, so when I've added things since, I just went, oh, this is a personalized program, and, try to make it more specific. But I did comment to someone, go, actually, by the end of the day, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I
Which is
saw that.
crazy.
Yeah, it's all right. So the veggie broth was good. So, a veggie soup would be good too, but not, I know you're going to have your chicken, but trying to stay off protein a bit longer, because as soon as you go back onto some sort of protein, whether it's just chicken or whatever, you will notice the change in the energy. Okay. So just be mindful of that. So, I'll put up a veggie soup that has all the nutrients in it like the salad does.
Yep.
Not the same sort of things, but, so that you get a lot of minerals and that from it. So
yeah, because I did wonder about turning the leftovers I had into soup. And then I thought, oh, raspberry. No. I know.
yeah, not the salad. Yeah, which you've got apple and different things in there that wouldn't work so much. With the veggie broth, sometimes I add more water to it, bring it back to the boil because of all what's left over, and then I'll pulse it and make it into a thick soup. So you don't have to necessarily throw it away. You can put it in the what do we call it? Where we put all our veggie scraps.
The composter.
Bin.
Yeah.
It'll go in the compost bin because it's just veggies. But if you don't want to do that, you can actually just add some more water back in and make it into a nice thick soup.
Well, I actually, the last couple of times I've done the chicken broth, I got I separated the veggies from the chicken, because last time I did chicken necks, which I actually prefer the frames, they taste better. Anyway, I pulled all the neck pieces out and it just had the veggies left. I actually had some of the veggies on toast, like sourdough toast. It was really yummy. So I'm like, I have some more in the freezer, so I can keep it.
Yeah. So, so for you, I'll see if I can get some more veggie, some more soup recipes. I know you've probably got a few, but I can give you some that we use.
Yep.
That'll give you
good
variety.
Yeah, and more specific. Yeah.
Okay. Lindy, what are you envisaging doing next?
The plan tonight is to make, hopefully I've got enough salad stuff to make another salad, and also some buckwheat, because I really enjoyed that today. And then that's me sorted for the next couple of days.
Yeah, okay.
I'm out tomorrow night and I'm still challenged by that, but take a little thing with some food in it, making sure that I've got what I need.
Because like I said, I used to take my own food, eat it in the car and go in to wherever I was going. Even if I had a nibble on a few things, I wasn't that hungry. If you go in there's ravenous, that's when
I'll definitely be making sure that I've had my quota. My question would be, am I still trying to make sure I'm eating every 2 hours or 2.5 hours or.
So what are you up to now? Every 2 hours, I think it's saying now.
2.5 hours.
Every 2.5 hours, yeah. So you can take that down to every 3 hours. Try to do that, because if we leave our stomachs empty for too long, that's when we get those hungries and ravenous feeling. Even if you don't feel hungry, the mind will tell you. Yeah,
I actually have today, my stomach was rumbling and I was busy doing something. I went, no, so I had an alarm set. So I just snoozed it twice. And by the time I'd snoozed it, and that was, my stomach was going, rah, rah, rah. And I went, okay. So I just stopped what I was doing and went and grabbed my food.
yeah.
But then I noticed I ate a bit faster and I had to stop and put the bowl down and make sure I chewed it and really just sat with it instead of racing off, which is what I do, race off to the next thing. Righto, next thing, next.
Yeah.
So I really pulled myself back in slowing down to eat it.
Well, that's good, because the salad makes you do that. Because you have to chew the salad.
Yeah.
You need to have time to do that.
Yeah. I think on Sunday I rushed eating it though. And that's where I had that bloating.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I was in a hurry and Nathan was doing stuff and I felt like I should be helping him. And because, I fed him his bowl of salad. I said, you're not having mine. It was we made a big joke out of it. It's mine.
Yeah.
However, what would you like? And he talked about that. So together we made him a big bowl of salad. So I'm going, all right, I've got to eat. Okay, I've got to go eat now. My alarm went off. I've got to go eat now.
Yeah.
Because that was every 2 hours. But yeah, there was that one time I rush ate and and then I had to get out and do more physical stuff. So I didn't really have the time to digest and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was good.
So there's another learning curve there.
So
you do need to stop and eat. To eat at the computer, if you can just take 10 minutes to go and eat something away from the computer, because your mind's here on the computer and you're trying to eat and the body's trying to do this. It's the same as watching television.
Yeah.
People watch television and eat because it's not actually allowing the body to digest the food as well as it could. The other thing that can give people bloating and things like that, not drinking with meals, but I think we've been through that before. Because when you drink with meals, it's just going to push it down too quickly and the enzymes don't get to break it up, so it all sort of expands. Yeah, so that's an important one. And the other one is, it's okay to laugh, but if you take in too much air when you're eating, you will get bloating as well, because the air's going down. They're like babies do. They're crying and everything. They're taking in a lot of air. So just little things like that, just to remember. Yeah. So bit crazy, but they can really change things if people get uncomfortable after eating and things like that.
So I had to take myself out when I was eating, because we don't have a dining table as such, because the dining table's a table for the air conditioner and all his stuff.
Okay.
I do have a little breakfast bar stool, so I was sitting at that, but he's sitting there watching TV, eating his dinners, because that's his way of doing it.
Yeah.
So I join that often, but what I did this time is the daytime I took myself outside.
Yeah.
And then I had 2 dogs going, can I? Like,
That's
no,
so
this is
cute.
mine. And I then, once I'd eaten it, I took myself on a gentle walk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
threw the ball for the dog or something. So I had that time. So I went, righto, let's go for a walk and move.
Yeah.
So
It's important to have the break, because you will actually be more energized to continue working. So I would start with every 3 hours, and then you're going to end up where you're eating your, I don't know, say 3 meals a day, and it'll be snacks in between. Because if you're using your brain a lot, you will get hungry Okay. And you need to replenish a bit of energy, but it could just be a handful of nuts or, something simple.
I'm always using my brain a lot.
I know you are. That's why I'm saying it. So, again, the veggie broth, you can do that on a day if you feel you want to. If you feel like, for instance, you've been out for dinner the night before, you haven't got time to do an enema the next day, but you could make up some veggie broth and just graze on that all day, and it gives time for the heavy meal to digest, but you're still keeping up your energy.
Mm-hmm.
So just something like that. And then you've only got to cook one pot and you haven't got to keep worrying about, what am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have? What am I going to have? So it sort of sets up those sorts of things too that make it easy. Soups, I'll put some soup recipes up and and get those off to you both.
Yeah.
Meat, I would try to stay away from as long as possible. It's
I actually
a
don't.
challenge.
I actually don't eat hardly
No,
any meat.
I know you don't. I'm sort of thinking of Lindy.
Poor Lindy,
I'm
sorry.
actually hanging out to
No,
have
no,
some-
that's all right. I know you don't, Alexis. We've got, your broths and things like that, but because the quicker you go on to meat, you're going to go into that dive, and that's what's going to make it dive. The sugar, the protein, the heavy proteins.
What about salmon? Is that okay? Because I eat more salmon.
Yeah, salmon's fine.
Okay.
It's fish. It's lighter.
Yeah.
Easy to break up in the body. Okay. So when we do longer fasting, like I've just done, we do not have any meat for at least 30 days breaking the fast, because we just want to really build the body up slowly. So I've just done nearly 3 weeks of fasting. So you do a little bit longer when you do breaking the fast. So just go with the flow. But if you can just make up batches of food, which is what you've been doing, because talking to Lindy now, and also you, Alexis, too, and you graze on that one thing all day, it's so much easier when you're working.
Mm-hmm.
You just go to the pot, warm it up, whatever, and have it. So from that perspective, it's good, and your stomach will like it better too, because to keep putting different things in for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, it has to keep going, oh, now what's sort of happening? Whereas if you do the same thing all day, the energy will stay higher. Yeah.
Well, can I do something like, is my quinoa flakes okay to do for breakfast?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And if you look at the grains sheet that the buckwheat, how you make the buckwheat, you've got the grains sheet. I don't think Alexis has, because it's how to cook the other grains. So I'll put that in the
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is put these in your folders, so
Mhm.
you've got access to them. Yeah, because I don't want to put it in the general group. So I'll just put those in your general folders, so there's more information. But on the grains sheet, it tells you how much water to put with the buckwheat, like what you've been doing, and you can put the greens with it, parsley, dill, coriander, and all that. But it tells you how to cook polenta, corn. It tells you how to cook quinoa in the same method where you wrap it up.
I've never eaten them, so that
Quinoa's
will be
yummy.
But
interesting.
you don't have to do them, but they're
I don't
just
know, it's
alternatives.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just alternatives. And the reason we slow cook them, if you've got a rice cooker, you can do it in that. But, if we wrap it up like we're doing, it slowly cooks. The vibration is gentle, and that's what's going into your body. When we boil something like this is what you're going to take on, the energetics of what you're going to take on. So that's why we just bring it to the boil and then wrap it up. So it's all gentle.
I wondered about that. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's
Cool.
what I call vibrational cooking. There's different methods of doing things, different foods. So it's a bit like when you do casseroles, because you're doing those gently in the oven. It's just that gentleness rather than, rapidly doing something because I'm hungry and I want to cook it quick.
That's what I'm doing
Like
tomorrow
I ate
night.
it. Yeah, which is haven't. So slow cooking.
Yeah, I love casseroles. I'm making the family a beef casserole tomorrow night, but I know the last few times I've had it, as much as it tasted delicious, my body was like, this is really heavy. And that's because most of the time I've been having soups and stuff, and then I have, oh, casserole, yummy. And then you have it going, oh, body's not so happy.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So for you, it might be better to keep it and have it for lunch the next day rather than in the evening, because your body might metabolize it and get it into the system.
One thing that I've been following is trying to eat heavier meals or heavier stuff before 2 o'clock during the day, because by 7:30 I want to be in bed. I'm usually in bed sleeping by 7:30, 8:30 at night.
Yeah.
So this is nearly past my bedtime.
Yeah. So that's just something I was going to say before too, was if you're going to do an enema at night, you need to do it at least 2 to 3 hours after you have eaten.
Yeah, so I'll go back to not eating after 2.
Yeah,
that will work.
Because otherwise it'll upset the digestive system.
Yeah.
Still trying to do this, process your foods, and because it slows down as the day goes on.
Yeah.
As we get tired, it gets tired too. So I'll put some recipes in your folders, and just you can repeat. What was your favourite, Lindy? Was the salad, was it?
All the salad and buckwheat together. Like today, having that tiny little bit of salad, and the salad I can make to last me 3 days.
Yeah.
By having that small portion.
Yeah.
Like only just a spoonful of it, because I was reducing the portion sizes.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in that, the awareness I had around not knowing when I'm full, because there was times where I wasn't eating and I felt full. So I went, well, I can't go by that feeling, because that's not true. Because you can't not eat all day and be full. So that's the mind. So I was like, okay, that's a thing to learn. And then my stomach kicking in, I haven't had the tummy rumbles and grumbles and that hunger for food for a long time. So it was exciting to have that again. And then it was like, when I was feeling hungry, ravenous hungry, I look at it and go, oh, cool, I get to eat in 15 minutes. So it was exciting to actually have that excitement to want to eat again.
Yeah, because you haven't had that for
a long time.
Yeah.
Because I went from food abuse, overeating, to undereating, which is the pendulum. So now I'm coming back to, yay, I want to be able to eat that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of meat gets consumed here. It is grass-fed, organic, as best as possible.
Yep.
Type thing, and I do really enjoy eating it.
No, you can have meat. Just remember, size of the palm of your hand, not too much.
Yeah.
A piece of fish can be bigger, about the size of your hand.
Whole hand, yeah.
There's the fish steaks, same as the palm of your hand. That just gives you a bit of an idea how much portion size.
Damn, I wish I had big
if
hands.
you have less, that's fine, but no more than that. Yeah. And try to keep meat to only maybe 3 times a week, every second day.
Yeah.
Okay, so that it's not every day.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, then you'll probably start to feel in control more.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. I also wanted to make the lentil shepherd's pie. I thought, that I'll make the veggie broth and then make the lentil shepherd's pie. And that makes my mouth water. Like, oh, yes, I really want that. And I've got a vegan friend, and he sent me all these dairy-free recipes. And there was a lot of dal and stuff like that. And I said to him, well, if I can make them without onion and garlic, that would be good. He was the one who commented about a water fast. And I went, well, yeah. And he goes, and I said, well, it's not for everyone. He goes, well, if that's your belief. And I went, well, medically, some people cannot or should not do it. And then he messaged me privately, and I said, yeah, well, I'm doing this for a reason, and gave him a little bit of the history, and he was like, oh wow, that's awesome and stuff. So
Yeah. And with water fasting again, you need to do enemas, otherwise they can make themselves quite unwell.
yeah, he does a 48-hour water fast.
Oh, well, that's only 2 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
People do them for weeks.
mm,
And I've had to rescue a number from doing them because they've read something and, I just drink water.
yeah,
It's not at
Can
a
you-
particular temperature. It's not, it's not thought out properly so that you
we'll
can
say just do
stay-
that, and they do.
Yeah.
Can you remind me the difference of intermittent fasting? That's the only eating within a certain time frame, isn't it?
Yeah, and people do it all differently. They will maybe eat in an 8-hour window, or over a 12-hour window, or 6-hour window, whatever they decide. They do that, and some people, it curbs people's appetites. That's why it's working, but it doesn't actually detox.
Mm.
That's the problem, because and what are they eating? They're just eating less, basically, of what they're normally eating, and they could get so much more.
Yeah,
It-
because I got
just so
poo-pooed.
much- Yeah, so
by
that's
someone.
why, and I don't negate it, because if it means people don't eat as much, I think that's a good thing, because people overconsume food. As we all know, we can probably do it, even if Alexis doesn't now. I'm sure she's done it in the past, and we don't even realise we're doing it. So yeah, if it does that for people, I think that's a good thing. But
I also found when I changed what I was serving food in, that helped me with portion control. Because years ago, when I was growing up, you'd eat everything on your plate. What you're given, that's what you had to eat, and you had to sit there until you ate it all. Anyway, as I've gotten older, that's the programming that I had. So, we'd have the bigger plates, and you just dish up everything. And like my in-laws, they would dish so much food on their plates, and I've never been able to eat as much as what they could. And just as soon as I started pulling mine back to small bowls about that big, I actually struggled to get through a whole bowl of food sometimes because my stomach has shrunk. But it's just from where I was to that's been, the last 10 years kind of progress. And now it's a matter of, well, apparently I don't eat enough. So I've got to kind of somehow manage to get, because my naturopath in Bundy, she says, you've got to get more fiber in. I'm like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
So, because I add psyllium husk to the chicken broth now. But yeah, it's just building.
It's not quite the fiber that you need. Something like the raw salad that's not as raw, if that makes sense. Yeah, because that's what's going to pick up and move everything. Even the psyllium husks, they expand and they can just make you feel bloated. They don't work for everybody, so just if they work for you and they move your bowels, that's what they're meant to do.
They did once, over a period of time they did, and now they don't anymore.
Yeah, so just, but being a bit mindful of things like that. But yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question, Lindy?
It was about the meat? I can't remember now. You were saying have it every second night.
The meat. Yes, that's
I was saying about having I said twice a week, but then I went, there's 7 days in a week. That's quite.
But you could have fish one night and meat on the other 2 nights.
Yeah.
With vegetable things in between. That'll make it a lot lighter for you.
Yeah.
And Lindy's done really well. Her lymphatic system's responded, and you've lost what?
8 kilos.
8 kilos.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that just shows you how much you were holding on to.
I was just sitting here before playing with my chin, going, It's actually dropped since we were on the call the other day.
Yeah.
And I need to watch the recording of us from day one to now, because I don't have
Yeah.
all of this. It's and Dave has said I'm not snoring, I'm sleeping really peacefully.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, it's gone down and I can feel it starting to go from my back, which is good.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a motivator for me of,
Yeah. Because
wow,
quite
I really
often
need-
back problems, and I've said that to you before, are because the digestive system are not, it's either expanded too much and it's pushing on, or it, you know, it's just not happy. So,
yeah, well, my back pain's been a lot less, like, well, significantly less. Like to do what I did in the garden on Sunday.
and then not to feel the repercussions.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
we're after. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you know, this morning I was clearing out, deleting emails, and there's been so much cleanse and clear, and I've now got to get onto the shed, I've got to get onto my office, and it's like, oh, where am I going to find all this time to get this done?
Yeah. But now you know why I call it cleaning and clearing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I've been using.
It's not just fasting, there's a lot of other stuff we can do.
Yeah,
Do
it's a
that
cleanse
too.
and clear and stuff. And I've generated a lot of interest with the sharing as well, and I'm really hoping some of my tribe will come on next
Yeah,
time.
well, I've got that one lady couldn't attend this time.
Karma. She's
Yeah, the
over
one
in the
over in
US. Yeah,
Canada or whatever.
yeah.
And there's this other lady. I mean, that was just from you putting those things up. So I just want people to feel better, and I want to give them the tools so they can do it at home. That's where I'm coming from, because you know, we don't have, some people have mega bucks, but they're actually having it done for them. But if you do it yourself, you get a much better, how can I say, a much better
Satisfaction.
result, because you're actually understanding more about you and how you can use all these different things. And you know, to me, that's, everybody should know that. So, but we're not taught it. We're not taught that as we're growing up. But you know, my own kids, I didn't realize how much they took in, because I've fasted for so long and done all these other things. But they ask me now, I mean, my daughter's 40, she needs to do one. I've got to go over and not rescue her, but be there to support her while she gets her life back in order. But my son's he's done 2 3-day fasts now.
That's awesome.
He's 37, his New Year's 37. He did one last year, and he rang me a few months ago and said, I think I need to do another one. So, yeah, so you don't realise sometimes when you're doing things that, you know, the kids do take notice, and they do as you do, they don't do as you say.
Yeah, I think Ryan's semi-interested, so I might see if I can get him on the next one.
Yeah.
And come and stay here, and that way then we can go through it together, and he can go to work from here if he works or whatever. But that's him then being away from Maddie for such a long time. But anyway, I'm not going to worry about them. I'll offer it and say it's here. It's up to people to walk the path and take it on themselves.
Yep. And I did have someone contact me asking me if I could do a session just on enemas and why you would do them, and a few simple ones like what you both started with. So I could do something like that as well.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, because people are very scared to do them. So
Piece of cake.
well, it is now.
It took me
Good.
years. Well, because I only started doing them earlier this year.
Oh,
It took me years. I've known about them for about 10.
yeah.
And I was frightened, because I'm like, it was so unknown that I couldn't even imagine I had to go looking to find out the process earlier this year, but I couldn't even look at it before then. So I'm like, I got no idea. Yes, it would be good, but I didn't have enough incentive to actually go looking until my system's like, we really need help now, not later. Do it now.
There was another friend who does enemas, and she was talking to someone else about it. And she said, oh, yeah, I just did one this morning. So it's more people that sort of know about it, but they keep it to themselves. It's not something that's talked about. So
Whereas I talk about it, you know, when I was in the supermarket, I had my folder open on the trolley getting my veggies, and I generated interest, and the man came up and he looked at my thing and was looking through it, and then I had someone come and visit, and he was reading through. I opened it up and went, it starts here, and I said, there's this and this and enemas, and he was like, oh, oak bark sounds interesting.
how was that oak bark one?
I don't know. It was, I can't remember.
Well,
now.
I mean, you didn't have any pains or anything like that. It went well.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them, there was a couple of times where I've had that, I had to breathe because my body wanted to expel it and I wanted it to go past the block. And one time I did breath and I just focused and breathed through the body wanting to push it out. And I heard this, I felt this pop and then gurgle, 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 like it went through further. And I was like, thank you. So I feel like that block has gone, like it's not like it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was interesting.
Well, there could have been debris stuck on the bowel wall, which is what
Mm.
happens. And some people have shown me all sorts of things coming out. Bits of what look like charcoal and all sorts of things. It's just dead food that's been sitting in there and things like that. So it's yeah, if you want to go down that track and have a look.
Well, yeah, I'd have to get a bedpan, a pan, and put it in the toilet and use it that way. Then I could see it. Because yeah, I can't put it in our grey water thing because we have to put our hands and stuff in there. So to clean out the grease trap.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, no, I won't. I can't do that to me. So yeah, the toilet was, because the beetroot, I couldn't really see it. There was then one time I actually put toilet paper in the toilet to try and capture it, and I could see little flakes of stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so I'll do that next time. Is put the toilet paper in.
If you're interested, you don't have to.
Well, I was, but
People send me all
I
sorts
can't
of.
see anything.
I've seen all sorts of pictures. So
Yeah. I think the oak bark one, it almost was like I was clean. It went out in and it came out like water. Like when you had your worms come out, Alexis, that one for me that day was almost like what went in came out. There was no further lumps or anything. Nothing, you know, so it was clean. But I mean, I've had a clean diet besides excessive meat. Well, it's not clean, is it? But clean of sugar, minimal dairy, like cheese is my only dairy.
gluten-free.
Gluten-free, all that sort of stuff for a long time. So, you know, my body lives in that, but it was just the lymphatic system was just so clogged. Yeah.
Because now you feel like moving, it's going to help it further. So
Yeah, and I want to keep that energy going. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's book you both in. So what are your what's your Thursday like? Anybody available on Thursday?
Yep, all day.
You're all day.
got the full moon Thursday.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking. I'm taking it on Thursday night. I can do Wednesday evening, but I know, Alexis, you prefer in the mornings, don't you? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
No, that's fine. So what if we do you at 9 o'clock on Thursday?
Yep, booked in.
9 Thursday, Alexis. What would you like to do, Indy? Because you've got all week, have you?
No, I've got some gaps. I'm supposed to be meeting with someone tomorrow. My day starts at 5 a.m. the next 3 days because I'm doing Mari Smith's.
So don't forget to eat then at or have a warm drink.
Yeah.
Don't wait till 9 o'clock.
Okay.
It's too long.
All right. So when you get up, make yourself a herbal tea or something.
Yeah. Can I
And-
go back to having the lemon water in the mornings? Because that was what I was doing to
well,
start.
you
the day.
can, but it needs to be warm. If
Yeah. Oh yeah. So a
yeah,
hot cup.
and that's when you get up if it's 5 or 6 o'clock, by 6, and then have something at latest by 8,
Mm-hmm.
7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Have first something to eat because you're just starting your day earlier.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
don't leave it till 9 or 10 o'clock because that's like way too long
Yeah.
with
And
what
when
you've
can
been
I?
doing.
And here comes the big question: when can I reintroduce my cacao?
The important questions.
See how long you can do without it.
Yeah, because Dave asked me. He goes, "How long have I got to wait?" Because I read up on it and how good it is for your heart.
Why can't he have it?
Well, because he likes me making it for him.
Oh, well, he can go without it too.
Yeah.
Why don't you challenge yourself to see how long you can go without it?
Yeah.
Because now is the time to go, do I really need it every day?
Mm.
Yeah. So
Might not need it, but want it.
that's a different thing.
Part of my practice.
Yeah. And to have, because it's ceremonial, putting it in your words, it's good to keep for ceremonies, but not to have every day because then it becomes a habit. It's like having coffee every day.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And then the body relies on it. And then you say, I have to have it because I'm missing it.
Yeah.
So give yourself a little bit of a challenge. And if you do go back on it, or, if you can.
I'm reducing the dose and the quantity. I'm halving that.
And don't have it every day.
Yeah.
Because a mix and match it around so that the body's not going, I've got to have this every day, because it just becomes something that you've got to have.
Yeah.
My thing with because I've done ceremonial cacao, not like yours, just normal.
Powdered.
No, somebody made it for me while I was over in Bali. Anyway, I was part of a retreat, so it wasn't every day that we were there, just for particular ceremonies we were doing. And when I came back, or even before that, ceremonial is usually for me new moon or full moon, or like specific solstice and equinoxes and things like that. But you could also find other little whatever felt like something special, or I know it's part of your ritual, but you have rituals, everyday rituals, and then you have the more meaningful rituals.
Yeah.
So that could just be something to look into.
Yeah. Well, I'm not rushing back into all these things because I want this loss to keep shedding. I want to keep shedding. I'm not calling it loss because we find things we lose. So I'm talking about shedding.
Shedding. And so again, it's just being mindful of not getting back into a routine where you've got to have something.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that'll stop the system from doing what it needs to do, and the brain. And you're training it now. You've survived this long, and are you actually missing it?
Not physically, but the mind, just the thought of sitting down and sipping on that nice, yummy, hot cup of love, chocolatey yumminess. I use agave syrup in it to sweeten it, but it still is it's a spice bit. It's a traditional Aztec recipe.
Yeah, I know. I've had it. I've had it years ago.
Yeah, but there's all sorts of different recipes. So
yeah.
I use the traditional Aztec one, which has got the spice to activate to get the nutrients out of it. Anyway.
So anyway, that's just my suggestion, and see how you go, and keep writing on a weekly intake sheet if you can, or a journal, so that next time you know how you were feeling, what we need to work on to change, combinations and things like that, because it's all individual.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We were trying to book me in.
Yes, we're trying to book you.
Wednesday afternoon, I'm available from 12:30 onwards.
From what time? Can you can't do 12? No?
Oh, I'm on a client call till 12:15, so that's why I'm saying 12:30
Okay.
the earliest.
All right, because you've got to stop and eat.
Yeah, well, get up. Yeah.
I can only do an hour then, so we'll see what we can get through. We should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've got babysitting duty at 2 p.m.
Oh,
Stays. But yeah, so an hour should be fine to get through a fair bit of stuff. Okay. So this is Lindy. All right. So I'll see you both then. Now, next Monday, I have shifted the therapeutic fasting monthly meeting of everybody that's done it. There's usually only one or two others that turn up. So next Monday, you're welcome to attend. It'll be in the Facebook group. You've probably already seen it.
yeah, I did.
If you want to, that would be good. And I will be sending you both a, what do you call it?
Feedback.
Form? Or feedback, it's just a little form.
Same as what I've got for mine.
So anyway, well, that'll be coming. Otherwise, I will see you at your appointments.
Beautiful. Thanks, Sandy.
All right.
So-
Thank you.
It's all right. Well done, and thanks for staying the distance. I didn't realise the time was put to 9. Okay, so Alexis wants to go to bed.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Bye.